The first time I smelled my fiance's breath, I almost threw up in his front yard. I still remember the shame in Akinwale's eyes. One second he was smiling at me, pulling me close like always, and the next second I was stepping back trying not to gag. The smell was horrible. It was like rotten eggs, dead rats, and dirty gutters mixed together under the hot Nigerian sun. Akinwale looked crushed. "I don't understand," he whispered. "I brushed my teeth before you came. I loved him so much. So I tried to pretend it was not that bad. But every time he spoke, the smell hit me again. My eyes watered. My stomach turned. That was the beginning of the worst week of my life. My name is Ngozi, and this is the story of how my best friend almost stole my husband. I grew up with Ochi in our village in Nigeria. Everybody called us sisters because we were always together. We ate together, laughed together, cried together. When she moved overseas for work, we still spoke almost every day. So when I got engaged to Akinwale, I was excited for her to come home for the wedding and be my maid of honor. Akinwale was everything I prayed for in a man. He was handsome, kind, rich, and respectful. His dark skin shined like polished wood under the sunlight, and his body looked like it had been carved by the gods themselves. But more than that, he loved me deeply. He never let me carry heavy bags. He kissed my forehead every morning. He called me my wife even before the wedding. When Ochi arrived from overseas, I ran into her arms at the airport. "You finally came," I shouted. She hugged me tightly. "I would never miss your wedding." That night, I took her to meet Akinwale. The moment she saw him, her face changed. Not in a bad way at first, she just froze. Akinwale smiled and stretched out his hand politely. "I've heard so much about you." Ochi stared at him for a second too long before shaking his hand. Then we drove to his mansion. I still remember how quiet she became as we entered the gates. The compound was huge. Expensive cars sat in the driveway. Workers greeted Akinwale respectfully everywhere we went, and through it all, Akinwale could not stop touching me lovingly. His hand on my waist, his fingers in mine, his eyes always finding me. That night, after dinner, Ochi sat beside me in my room. "You are very lucky," she said softly. I smiled. "I know," but something in her eyes made me uncomfortable. A few days later, everything changed. That was when Akinwale's breath suddenly became unbearable. At first, we thought he was sick. He bought expensive mouthwash. He visited dentists. Nothing worked. The smell only got worse. People started avoiding him. Workers covered their noses when he walked by. Even his friends stopped visiting. I tried to stay strong, but it was hard. Every time I got close to him, I felt sick. Then suddenly, Akinwale stopped seeing me altogether. Whenever I came to visit, the doorman would block the gate. "Sir says he does not want visitors today," I would beg. "Please tell him I only want to see him." But the answer was always no. Meanwhile, Ochi kept visiting him. At first, I thought she was helping him because she was my friend. Then one day she said something strange. "Ngozi, maybe Akinwale needs space," she told me. "If he really loved you, he would let you visit." Her words hurt me deeply. Still, I refused to give up on him. One afternoon, I went again to Akinwale's mansion. The doorman stopped me like always. As I stood there crying quietly, I heard laughter nearby, a faint laugh. I turned toward the side garden. It was Ochi. She was behind the trees talking on the phone. I was about to call her name when I heard her say the potion worked perfectly. I froze. My heart started pounding. Ochi laughed again. "Nobody can can stand his breath except me. Soon Ngozi will leave him completely, and I'll become Akinwale's wife. I covered my mouth in shock. Then she said the words that destroyed me. That witch doctor deserves more money for this putrid breath potion. My knees nearly gave out beneath me. I could not believe it. My best friend had done this. My sister, my maid of honor, the person I trusted most in the world. I ran home crying harder than I had ever cried before. That night, I did something I never thought I would do. I went looking for the witch doctor. His hut sat deep inside the forest, outside the village. The air smelled of smoke and herbs. I was shaking as I entered. The old man looked at me calmly. "You are Ngozi," he said. I nodded slowly. "I know why you are here." My voice trembled. "Please help me." The witch doctor sighed heavily. "The jealousy in your friend's heart is very dark." Tears rolled down my face. "Can the spell be broken?" "Yes," he said, "but it will not be easy." He moved closer. "To reverse the spell, you must embrace Akinwale and kiss him with true passion for 1 full minute." I almost gagged just thinking about it. The witch doctor continued. "The smell will be terrible at first, but if your love is real, the curse will break before the minute ends." I wiped my tears quickly. "I'll do it." The old man smiled softly. "Go now. The doorman will let you in." When I arrived at Akinwale's mansion, the gates opened immediately. I rushed inside. Akinwale looked shocked when he saw me. "Ngozi?" Before he could say another word, I wrapped my arms around him and kissed him deeply. The smell hit me instantly. It was disgusting. My stomach twisted. I wanted it to pull away, but I held on tighter. I loved him too much to quit. 10 seconds, 20 seconds, 30 seconds. Then suddenly, the smell started fading. By the time 1 minute passed, his breath smelled fresh again. I pulled back slowly in disbelief. Akinwale stared at me with wide eyes. "Ngozi?" At that exact moment, Ochi burst into the room. "No!" she screamed. "No! No! No!" Her face twisted with rage and panic. My plan was working. Akinwale looked confused. "What plan?" I turned toward him with tears in my eyes. "She poisoned you." The room went silent. Ochi's shoulders dropped in defeat. For the first time in my life, I looked at my best friend and saw a stranger. Akinwale pulled me into his arms tightly. We held each other for a long time. We had missed each other so much. Ochi lowered her head and walked away without another word. I never saw her again after that night. A few weeks later, Akinwale and I got married. My little sister became my new maid of honor. The whole village came to celebrate with us. There was music, dancing, food, and laughter everywhere as Akinwale and I danced together under the evening sky. I noticed someone standing far away between the trees. It was the witch doctor. He smiled quietly before disappearing back into the forest. That day taught me something I will never forget. Not everybody smiling beside you is happy for you. Jealousy can destroy friendship, love, and even lives, but true love, honesty, and loyalty will always defeat evil in the end. If you enjoyed this story, please like, share, and subscribe.